Can you hear me?
It says live video paused.
Okay. All right, I think we're live on IG.
Oh, there's an echo.
Did that work?
It's okay, but it's really echoey.
What is happening with my live?
What is going on? Well, whatever is going on, what's really going on is this is the last episode of The Well in 2020, folks.
It is the last one, and sure enough, the last one has us messing up the audio. What's going on here? It's so weird.
Can you hear that too?
Oh no, we're good. We're good.
No, we're not good on my end. It's so delayed. So if you laughing on Instagram and then you're laughing double time on my StreamYard.
Am I?
This is real life, folks. Hi, Teddy Gomez. You must be related to Jomar.
He is. It's my uncle.
Hi, Uncle.
What's up, Tito?
Oh, I think we're good. I think we just
I
need
think
a
we're
little
good too.
buffer zone period, where it just like gets caught up.
Yeah. I think we're good.
Okay, I think
Yep.
we're good.
Oh, it sounded good. Oh, Yuri, that's my cousin. Look, it's a family affair.
It's a family affair. Hi, Yuri. Hi, Teddy.
Hey, cuz.
Hi, cousins. Can I be your adopted cousins
You're right.
too?
You're right on time. We figured out our audio situation. This is interesting.
To say the least. We need a VA just to help us with the well.
Right. Welcome, everybody, to the well. This is our last one of the year, our weekly Wednesday sessions where we hope to provide bits of wisdom that will help you in the crazy journey that we're in. My name is Jomar. I am an executive and transformative coach. I work with folks to get over themselves, honestly, and just own what it is that they want. Own what it is that they want and just go get it and stop making excuses for themselves and just show up. That's what I do.
Love it. Thanks for always supporting me to show up and be in my own self-love and acceptance. And you're such a great reflection and reminder of that. And I'm grateful for you for that.
Oh, thanks.
And I'm Emily. And sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. My new tagline is I'm a facilitator of powerful conversations that change people's lives and their businesses. And I've been doing a lot more business coaching lately, which is really fun and exciting. So I'm working with teams and CEOs, a couple of CEOs, owner-operators. And I love that because the idea is, hold on, heads up, Facebook requires you to go live, but we are live. We're not live on mine.
Oh, go live.
Go live. Oh my gosh, just a day of technical difficulties. Well, if you're watching on my Facebook and you're just tuning in, welcome to the well. So much for my countdown clip. Anyways, my name's Emily. I'm a facilitator of powerful conversations that change people's lives and businesses.
We're messy. We're messy over here, and that's okay.
And that is part of life, man.
It's life. It's real life. So for today, our topic is making room for the new. And so I'm going to start off, Em, if that's okay.
Please, vamp away.
And by the way, if you want to join us even more in this conversation or join me, I have a workshop titled the same thing this Sunday. It's on my profile page. Join me. Let me know. Making room for the new. I'm going to talk about the first part of that, which is making room, and then perhaps we'll see where it goes and we'll cover the new part. But here's my experience with this process is making room is really, really, really important and quite often something that we bypass and kind of just think will automatically happen if we're move forward creating new things in our lives. And a lot of the times what happens that I've found for myself and I've found for the clients that I work with is if we're not careful, insights tend to keep showing up and they keep having to teach themselves in our path forward. And making room is an intentional slowing down. It's an intentional reflection, and it's an intentional tethering, not just from a conceptual level, but from a fully embodied level of the insights that you've experienced this year. And that's what making room means for me. And that's what I've felt has been most impactful in the work that I do, is slowing down, tethering to the insights, allowing them to register, and acknowledging them, being grateful for them, accepting them, and really making time for them. And not just doing that on your own, doing it with somebody you love, doing it with somebody who means a lot to you, and letting them in on a journey, because that's an important part of that equation. Because if you're doing this by yourself, you're staying in your head about it. The making room for part, quite honestly, can just sit there. And doing this in community, doing this, whether it's just one of your best friends, someone you trust, a coach, obviously, it's a process. It's a process that one needs to be intentional about. And I'll ground that in a second, but I wanted to let you kind of reply to that, respond to that. And what do you think?
I love that. I always say I love that in response to anything you say. I notice that sometimes when I watch these back. I do love that though. And I could internalize that in my own personal experience and journey. I was just thinking about, like, what am I making room for, and what have the insights from this year been for me, and where am I at? And so that really hit me in a new way to I guess if I had to boil it down, it's like the power of reflection, right? Like, can you actually give yourself the opportunity to look back on your journey, and how does your journey, how does it relate to where you're at now and what you currently want for yourself, as in the new? So that was just a bit of my thought process as you were sharing. And when I think about making room for something that we've never experienced before, or something new, the thing that comes to mind, particularly when it's something that's conscious, that we know we want to bring in, whether it's a habit or a practice or a way of communicating or relating, I really love this idea that that doesn't mean stopping doing something else. So when I think about making room for the new, I think there's a misconception that's like, if I want to create more time in my calendar to do yoga, it means I have to stop sleeping in, whatever that is. And so I really love this idea of giving ourselves permission, where starting something new, making room for something new, doesn't actually mean that we have to stop doing something else. It can, and I think that when we put that pressure on ourselves, it can actually prevent us from starting something new. So my invitation, and what I've noticed has a greater impact, is can we just start that new thing? Can we just welcome that in just a little bit, while still having all of the old there, while still having, the less optimal parts of whatever it is that we're trying to shift or include or change or whatever it is? Can we just start making room for the new without having to stop necessarily doing something else, if that makes it more graceful, if that makes the transition easier? So that's my 2 cents on making room.
Yeah, and a few points there. I think when you talk about being conscious about it, and in doing this while the old's still there, those are important, I guess, ingredients in the cocktail of this process of making room for the new. The one is it has to be a conscious practice. You have to slow down. You have to take inventory. You have to journal things, write things down, have meaningful conversations like this with people you love for it to truly register. And that is a conscious process. It's not something that your default sort of autopilot operation way of just going from one task to the other and then thinking like, oh, making room for the new. It has to be a super conscious process, is what I want to point out there. And then the other part is when you said, the old can be there while you make room for the new. Yes, that's all possible. Making room for the new doesn't mean you completely throw the baby out with the bathwater. It could mean including, Ken Wilber talks about transcend and include. And so in this process of making room for the new, your insight might be, look, there's some things that have happened this year that occurred in the midst of like the most painful parts of my life. And actually within those bits, there's things I want to retain. There's things I want to take with me. And there's things I want to grieve and leave behind. So it can be both. It doesn't have to be either or in that process. And again, the key point is slowing down and having it be a really conscious practice on your side, in community with others, journaling, that sort of thing.
Sharing the experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've got something else to say about that, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
What comes to mind is this concept, idea, reality that you cannot leave somewhere you've never been. So when I think about making way for the new, where I have to ground myself is allowing myself to be fully present in where I currently am. And I'm probably like most human beings, where I currently am, there's some resistance about some of about the place that I'm currently at. I got some resistance here. There's some stuff that's not my preference, perhaps. And so this really wrapping your head around that. You cannot leave somewhere you have never been.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are in any form of resistance to your current circumstances or situations, one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself is just permission to be there. And by allowing yourself to truly be there will actually be the path to creating something else, to creating something new. And you'll know if you are resisting that is if you're in resistance, right? If there's something that you consistently complain about, if there's like a feedback loop going on in your brain about, a current circumstance or situation. So I play with that one in my mind all the time. You cannot leave somewhere you've never been. So if you want to create and get something else, have a different experience, can you just let yourself first be where you are? And that's really that piece of that you just mentioned, over and over again, that I think is just solid, is slow down. Be here. Be here. Whether it's good, it's bad, it's epic, it's ugly, be here.
Yeah, and so I want to end with sharing something that I'm making room for, and something that I'm that's evolving this year. That was a big insight for me. It was actually in my relationship with my wife. We are raising our second baby, and a lot of what this year has been is experiencing insights on how our marriage evolves into that, and what intimacy looks like within that evolution. And so our biggest insight this year is just that it needs to evolve. We've picked up habits and beliefs that was really rooted in what that looked like at the beginning of our relationship 15 years ago. And those practices needed to, like, our way of thinking about how we relate to each other needed to expire. And part of that was just being with like some of the things that don't work anymore. Like, I can't show up to her the way I've always been used to. And so making room for the new, part of that was making room for just understanding, like, what doesn't work now? Like, what doesn't work for me? What doesn't work for her? Like, who are we now in relationship to that? And then what from there, weird part is the new just kind of on its own, like shows up. Yeah, yeah. We didn't have to force it. It just was there after we made room for it. We didn't have to, reinvent the wheel, so to speak. It's just sort of like, oh, here. And then there was a lightness on that side, and it's been wonderful. And so just continuing down that path has been really fun.
Love it. I'll just share quickly what I'm making room for, and I'm going to tie it back to what we were talking about before we actually went live, was just allowing myself to continue to discover the depths upon depths upon depths upon the layer after layer after layer of this idea that no one is coming, right? So I was talking with you about, like, in my business, right? Like, I work for myself. No one is coming. There is no one coming to do this for me, It has to be self-generated. Being a single woman, a single mom, a co-parent. I mean, by single mom, I mean, like, I am single and I am also a mother. Mm-hmm. No one is coming. There's no Prince Charming. There's no, like, magic carpet. Like, so just the layers upon layers of, like, my life is on me. It's on me to create it. It's on me to generate it. It's on me. And that doesn't have to be a negative thing, right? It doesn't have to be a pessimistic thing. It can actually be, like, a very empowering one. It's like, wow, I get to do this. I get to create this.
Yeah.
And it feels like it's a little bit of, like, maybe I like that tough love a little bit or something, but it's a little bit of, like, a swift little kick in the ass of, like, no one's coming, darling. You better get your shit together.
Oh, I love it. Well, this has been a wonderful time with you, Em. Hopefully folks who have watched this live or in repeat or, after the fact have found some value. It's been fun doing this with you. It's been a fun 2020, and I can't wait to do it some more in 2021.
We're coming back to you guys 2021. I think our first one back is the 6th. Is that right? Whatever the first Wednesday in January is.
Right.
We will be here at 1:00 Pacific time. Thanks for sharing this time and space with us, everyone. We're just wishing you the most profound completion of this wild and crazy year. And I'm sending you guys so much love from my heart to all of yours, and just many blessings and lots of love. And we'll see you in 2021.
Woohoo! Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Much love.
Ciao for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.